Ladies and gentlemen, Bitcoin has been pumping, and today's video, I'm going to be showing you where my key levels of resistance are coming in for the price, and also on the support side in terms of taking another potential position in the market. You've been following me, you would know I've entered a spot position at around $84,000. And in today's video, I'm going to be telling you what I'm doing with that current position. So without further ado, let's dive straight into the charts. All right, so if we pop on here, today's agenda is going to be quite simple. We're going to be going over the key levels I'm looking at in the chart, and then we're going over actionable trade setups, and then how I'm currently trading this market dynamic, okay? So let's take a look straight away. So if we follow from where we were in the last video, we were approximately around this region before we had the rise up. So I think it was $86,000, and now we're positioned at $91,200. Now, I was highlighting this as a key level because we had two different resistances here. So one was this key level of resistance here, and I think another one was was it volume? I believe, yeah, there's a volume level here too. So that's current. That explains why we are starting to see a slowdown in terms of price going up. Now, if we are to claim this, right? Claim this and stay above here, then my expectation is that we'll be heading higher. First step would be this level here, and then that next one would be 101. It might be, I'd actually believe it'd have more of a likelihood of getting 101 once you break above this level here. So that's going to be very key. So I'm really looking out my eyes for that, and that's going to determine what I do and in terms of my allocation of the spot. As you would know, I did take a bit of profits on the upside and I let the rest run. So we are still letting that run, and we'll take it as it comes, right? So to first and foremost, we are in a resistance box. So if you want to highlight that, you definitely can. I will make this red because red is quite a fitting color. And we'll just go like that, and we'll just do that. So you can see it, red is the box of first the resistance. Second level of resistance I'm looking at would be up here, but I'm not going to highlight it right now. I do think it, I will, about $97,000 because volume level plus the highs here. And that also coincides with this support. And lastly, I would say this one here in terms of looking for the upside. That's if we continue this rally, okay? And I really, yeah, like I said, the determining factor of that is if we get the claim above 91,200, then I'd definitely be expecting us to go further with price. All right, so next step, let's have a look at what I'm currently looking at. So if we just go on our levels, we get the monthly. The trade, first of all, this long trade was based on the premise that we hit our key level and we found support, which we did. And even if you pop it onto the daily, you had a clear entry point. Momentum was starting to shift. You hit the key level here. And that's when I entered around $84,000. So in total, that increase has been a 7% increase in your spot position. So if you're using $100,000, that's around a $7,000 increase in your portfolio value, okay? If you're using lower, then it's respective of whatever you're using. So we are definitely coming into that point where we're going to start to find, there's two outcomes, right? You either flatline here and go down again, or you flatline here and go up again, form the next hump. So the hump is either going to find resistance here or there. So there's three levels. We're at one right now. So I hope that makes sense on what I'm looking for to the upside. Now, I just want to be as clear as I can because I know these markets are quite confusing to a lot of people. To preface, we hit a major support level. We found momentum was starting to shift. I entered into the position, and now we're into a local resistance level. Now, what does that mean? Does that mean I'm taking my whole position out? No, it doesn't. I'm still majority allocated. My clear sign of getting out of this is if we start to lose $89,000, I will pretty much close all of it. Because then I would probably be expecting it to, if we just pop on a volume node here, because we'd start to close back in the range, right? And then back in the range, you'd be expecting back continuation to the downside. Another thing I like to preface is when I was saying in the last video, we were at this level here specifically. I was saying in the video that I expect it to go down to our POC, trade here for a bit, and then that decides where we go. And obviously we had the upside. The thing about ranges is they generally hop in between each other like this, and also between the POC. So you had that here like that, and then push up to the upside. So there's different dynamics in how it happens. And market context is very important. Now the market context here is we've hit a major low. So I'm more inclined to slap on my indicator, whatever I'm using, right? My volume nodes, my indicators, my my understanding of the markets. It's a culmination of many different things that forms a intuitive guide on how you'd be entering. Well, I know I'm more inclined for a long, right? So if I slap on my metrics, okay, I know I'm more inclined for a long, so am I going to look to take a long position? Well, number one's here, and I took my long position around here. This is why I said in the video, specifically the triangle. I was in that, I took my long position there, stopped beneath the lows here. I also saw that we were starting to form a switch up in money flow. Now, that's not all I'm really using, but it's a guided extra metric to look at. Now, another entry you could have done was the VWAP bottom over here. And then over here, you also had, I would say it wasn't a good entry here because I don't think it's a very technical trade. I'd be more inclined, that's quite technical and this low is quite technical coming in there. And now you just sit and wait. You don't have to think about it and you don't have to freak out, right? So that's what I'm currently looking at in terms of the supports and what we saw. Now, if we want to look at to the downside here, what we can see, specifically what I'm looking at, right, is going to be this low coming in. So this swing low here, so we can highlight that just as it is. And then we have a daily level here. So we want to zoom that in. If we do go down from this level, we're going to have a coincide with a few different things. So we'd have 91,000 be the top. We'd have a very, very key level at $84,000 back to where my entry was because we have a Fibonacci pull plus a daily level there. So that's going to be a very key support if we hit down there. So let's highlight that as a level. So boom, it's like that. I would say that monthly is now invalidated, so we can take that away. I'd be then inclined to look at this level here, which is 79,000 to 80,000. And then beneath that, I wouldn't not necessarily be looking at that next daily beneath there. I don't think that's going to hold much value. I'd be then looking for this level here. And specifically, I would take that away. I would say there. Okay. And then from there, we'd evaluate that. The reason I do this is because when you get to level, that's when you decide if you want to take the trade. So when we got to my key levels, which were down here, which I spoke about because we were looking at the key levels as we were falling, and there were a few different along the way, and the strongest one was down here, and I was saying I was still expecting lower. So if you go back, you can back test that and how I was analyzing the market at the point. Now, in terms of what I'm looking at, yes, we are at a level of resistance. Okay, so if we reject from here, you're expecting down there. If we do keep going up, I'm expecting 97. And then lastly, it's that $105,000 region. So you can see what it looks like in my red box zone. What do I currently expect looking at everything? Well, I think, you know what? I don't think it's good to place expectations here because trading based on the reaction on the level. So what are we seeing right now in our resistance level? It's not looking like the strongest resistance yet. So we might actually absolutely bounce above it. But yeah, so if we bounce above it and then close above it convincingly, then I'll be very, very bullish and I'll be happy because I'm in long positions, okay? Now, to the downside, that's a different story and we'll have to evaluate that as we go. Regardless of the fact, it's still a profitable trade. And that's why you have to take profits, especially on these types of trades. You take a little bit of profit so you don't lose regardless. So if you put $100,000 in, maybe you take $2,000 out and then you're quite safe, okay? So that's what I'm looking at right there. Other than that, I don't think there's anything else that stands out to me. So I'm going to close this video here. You can highlight these levels right over here. And basically, that's about all I'm looking at. And I'll update you going forward, okay? Now, what you can do, if you want to support the channel, guys, there's links down below to exchanges. Now, if you want to trade, use those links. Help support the channel. Trading fees, instead of going to the exchange, a lot of them will go to myself, which helps me make better content for you guys, helps me allocate capital better, makes me more invested in the charts. Now, if you guys do that, that'll be awesome. I'm going to keep doing content for you guys and letting you know how I'm positioning myself in the marketplace. For now, I will catch you guys later. And yeah, without further ado, smash the like button, give it a comment, and I will see you in the next Isaac Finance update.